is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I spent the whole day driving around in this Mazda MX-5 Miata today, and I took it to the canyons and I drove it on the freeway, and so now I'm going to do a really quick review and talk about all the great things that I like about it and some things I dislike about it. Alright, so let's start off with the front end. First, this is a really long hood compared to my personal Jetta GLI. It's definitely longer because the engine's like in the middle right here. Like from the front, this car just looks really good. I love the way it looks. It's just classic sports car vibe. The headlights look really cool. It has a little smiley face kinda, and then it has these small like arrow things on the bottom, and then it also has fog lights, and the headlights are LED. This one's a 2016. The wheels are silver Mazda wheels, small brakes, and then black mirror caps right here, and then the surrounding top is black, and then the soft top is black too. So side profile looks really good. Classic sports car vibe. I love the look of these things. And on the back, you see kind of a similar kind of narrow design for the taillights, and then exhaust pipe on the right side with two exits. So if we open up the trunk, you can see it's pretty deep down here. You could fit like maybe 2 suitcases and a backpack or something. It's not very big, but for how big the car is, honestly, it does the job. Gas tank is back here, and then let's open the hood. All right, so under the hood, which is also very light, by the way, easy to lift up, we have a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. I believe it's around 160 horsepower, and it's mounted like this. I guess it's vertical, technically. And so you can see the engine kind of sits right behind the axle right here, between the driver and the front axle. Now we're gonna take a look inside. So I am 6 feet and 1 inch tall, and I feel like I barely fit in this. Like it'd be comfortable for like I don't know, a commute or like one canyon run, but other than that, I probably wouldn't want to spend too much time in it. Like today, it was a few hours, and it was a little too long. I felt cramped up. But overall, the driving position is low down. The windshield in the front is small. Visibility with the top down is great. So on the driver door, you basically get 2 window switches. You get the door locks. You can adjust the mirrors, just the door handle, and that's pretty much it. I think there's a speaker in here too. On the passenger door, it's pretty much the same, just 1 window switch. Steering wheel right here, beautiful design, super simple. You've got the volume controls, skip and go back. Mazda logo right here with the horn, cruise control settings, and then 2 little knobs here. And this is the automatic version, so it does have the paddle shifters, and then transmission, the shifters right here. E-brake right here. One thing about this car, not a lot of storage space. There is no glove box. You basically just have this little area right here to put a phone maybe. You can put the key here, and then in here you can store a little bit of stuff. I have my GoPro or my DJI batteries in there and some chapstick. Climate control settings, very simple, not too complex. You don't have any numbers, you just use the dials. It works pretty good, no complaints really. And then infotainment, no backup screen. It does have Bluetooth, and it works pretty good. On the center cluster right here, it was really nice driving, to be honest. I really like this, the tachometer. It looks great with the circle and the way the revs go. And then you have your fuel, and it shows you can look at your range, you can look at the temperature up in the top, the temperature outside, the mileage. And then right here on this screen, it'll show you the gear you're in. And then right there is the speed. Back here, since there's no glove box, you have this little compartment here to put stuff. It could barely fit maybe like a couple water bottles or something. It's not very big. There are cup holders here that you can remove that just pop out like that, and they can go in there. The passenger one can be removed and placed right there, but it does block the passenger's legs a little bit. And so for the soft top, it's down right now, but to put it up, you basically just click that, pull this, hook right there, and then push, and boom, it's on. And then you can roll the windows up, and then just to put it down, pull down like this, unclip that, push up, and then you just push back and pop it into place, and boom, perfect. So that is super easy. That's probably my favorite thing about this. If I were to get a Miata, I would definitely say get the soft top. Of course, I haven't driven the RF version, retractable fastback, but I just like how easy it is to take that off personally. We'll talk about it on the road, how it is, like loudness. But that's pretty much it for the outside and inside of the car. Now let's take it for a drive and talk about its driving. All right, you guys, so now we're in the car. Got the key fob, seatbelt's back here in place with this little thing. All right, start it up with the button. All right, so we are in reverse. Let's go ahead and back up. Super easy to back up. With the top down, there's really no blind spot. I mean, I can see everything, so it's really no problem here. So with the top up, there is a pretty big blind spot right here at your left shoulder and the back right over there. But let's start off with the throttle response. So when I first picked up this car, I noticed it was pretty jerky in like automatic mode. The transmission being an automatic, you know, it's you're not doing your own gears, so it kind of picks for you, and it's a little difficult to know what gear the car wants to be in versus what you want to be in. So personally, I found it a little jerky and a little sensitive at first, but I got used to it. But I found myself kind of using the manual mode anyways. Yeah, so you shift down to shift up. In my car, it's the other way around. I know in like BMWs, you do pull down. It is just a torque converter automatic. It's a 6-speed. I would definitely say get the manual because this car is made mostly for fun. So the automatic is great. The shifts are fast and it's precise, but I just think the manual is a more engaging experience. So the engine, I also noticed that it has good power right away. It really gets up and goes. Like there's no trouble with power. You do want to make sure you're in the higher gear because there's obviously no turbo. So you want to, or in a lower gear and higher RPMs is what I meant. But this car is pretty quick. It's very light. It's under 3,000 pounds, but it has good power. It feels solid. It's basically the perfect amount, I'd say. I don't think you need any less, any more for what this car is. Like something this simple and raw, I believe this is the perfect balance. I mean, it would be fun with a turbo, but I think revving it out with a manual like would be perfect. I don't know if you need the turbo for that, but it would be fun. All right, so for like city driving, I noticed that the steering is pretty heavy. The feedback is good, but it's a little heavy and like very communicative. Definitely tells you where you're pointing. Yeah, so I did take this car to the canyons today, and honestly, it was one of the best experiences driving I've ever had. This car is basically 50-50 perfect distribution of weight from front to back. You could just feel it in the turn. There was like, the body does not roll. It just basically stays totally planted. And I felt every time I went around a turn in the canyons that the car could be going faster. Like, I took some turns without braking and the car just went right through them. So it had no problems doing that. So on my commute back on the freeway, with the top up, it is pretty loud. Like the soft top being up and closed, it's pretty loud. And you can still hear like cars around you. It's definitely not isolated at all. One thing I would say though is being in this interior with the top down, And even the windows down, there's like hardly any wind. Like you could easily have a conversation. Me and my girlfriend were talking the whole time, and there was no problems hearing each other. Like, and the wind's not in your face. Yeah, they definitely know what they're doing with this design for the top down. But in traffic, I did notice it was pretty sensitive, pretty jerky. So that's kind of why I found myself using the manual mode instead, because you're able to kind of keep it in the gear you want it to be in. Like in the traffic, you would be going, and then, you know, traffic speeds up, slows down, so the car doesn't really know what gear it wants to be in. And so that's why I would say the manual would be better compared to this automatic, but the manual mode I was using a lot today. And the paddle shifters are great. It's pretty reactive, honestly. It's not like super fast, but it does communicate well. Yeah, but going around the turn is just like, it feels like there's unlimited grip. Like, you guys can go check out my Canyon video of this thing, but basically every turn I did brake that I needed to, that I felt like I needed to, but it honestly felt like it could have gone like any faster than I did. And it just felt really at home there. I also noticed that today, my whole trip, I was getting about 33 miles per gallon, and I was not going easy on the engine. Like, I was not trying to save gas, and yet it got around 33, which just shows how efficient this engine is. It was very impressive. I couldn't believe it. So one thing about like day-to-day use, this car is really small. It doesn't have a lot of space. So you could at most probably do like a day trip. It would be difficult to do kind of a road trip. It's really crammed in here, kind of hard. I would suggest this as like a day trip car. You would definitely want a second car if you had this. This probably would not be your only car. So this is a 2016, so I believe it's a ND1. You guys need to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's ND1. Yeah, so overall, this car is phenomenal. The weight distribution, the way it goes around turns is amazing. It's just such a fun car. And I think it's probably made to be like a canyon car and like be driven fun with the top down. It's amazing. And so I would definitely recommend this car to anyone who wants a good top down experience, who likes to go driving and likes the turns, you know. It's not all that fun in a straight line. I mean, if you have the manual, it probably will be, but even with the paddle shifters, it's more of a corner car, which makes sense because it's not that fast. But I definitely loved driving this thing today, and it was a great little like daily driver, I'd say. But you can't fit more than 2 people. There's hardly any room to store stuff in here. We had to put a lot of stuff in the trunk today, and the trunk is not huge, so you're definitely compromising kind of space and usability a little bit. This is definitely the best driving car that I've ever driven. Just the way it goes around turns and like the steering feedback is just like, honestly, it's phenomenal. You can feel everything, and as soon as you start to turn, the car just like starts to rotate, and it's kind of like I guess the steering kind of just feels like it wants to keep turning. Like you start to turn and it's like effortless to keep turning it. It kind of pushes you to keep turning the wheel. So this car revs out to 6,500 RPMs, which honestly I never found myself using all of it. I feel like I just stayed in 3rd or 2nd gear on the mountain, and that was honestly enough for me. And I never really fully revved it out. This car is not slow, actually. Like I would say it's comparable to my Jetta GLI. I think the 0-60 is probably like somewhere in the 5 seconds, but it feels great. It's a great car. I did get a little like, I don't know if you would call it overstimulated, but there was just kind of a lot going on. The top was loud, and then the steering was kind of stiff. Oh, McLaren. Oh, wow. I also would definitely suggest, if you had one of these, to modify the exhaust in some way, just so there's a little bit more noise, because it does just sound like a vacuum cleaner, like most cars do nowadays. But I think it would just be phenomenal with, you know, some exhaust noise. Yeah, this thing's a lot of fun. I love lightweight cars and small cars. It is a really tiny car, so it's super easy to know like where it's at. You can see the wheel basically, like that hunch right there is where the right wheel is. And then if the top is down, you can literally look around and see kind of the boundaries of the car. But like on the freeway, you do feel like you get thrown around like by every little wind thing. Any blowing wind, like it'll push the car a little bit. Like the big trucks, you know, you're smaller than anything else on the road. So this car's great in like handling. Is probably 10 out of 10. Visibility with the top down, 10 out of 10. With the top up, probably like 6. Handling, 10, yeah. Speed, it's like a 6, but like that doesn't really matter. Reliability, I had no issues. I know they're pretty reliable. Mazda, it's naturally aspirated, 2-liter, 4-cylinder, pretty easy car to work on. Engine, I mean, I haven't owned it long term, so I can't really give a thing, but from my knowledge, I'd say it's like 9 or 10. Looks wise, definitely a 10 out of 10. I love the look of this. Rear wheel drive, front engine, sports car, convertible. It looks beautiful. It's tiny. It's a great looking car. One thing, the brakes are a little soft. I don't know if it's just this car. You kind of have to press them a lot harder than you would think you had, at least for my own car. I have to press them harder than I do my own car. But they do stop good, but they could be a lot better, I feel like. The transmission is a little jerky in auto, but when you're kind of going fast and you shift, it's super smooth. You can't even notice the difference. But when you're kind of like going slow, it's kind of like jerky. It doesn't really know what gear it wants to be in, I feel like. Oh, so like the features. I would say it kind of lacks some features. You know, there's no Apple CarPlay. It does have Bluetooth, but this is a 2016. The newer ones have Apple CarPlay and backup cameras and everything. But features-wise, this one, it has all the basics that you possibly could need. AC, Bluetooth. It even has cruise control, so like that's even a step up. Some cars don't even come with that. So it's probably like a 6. And like for the era, I'd say 6 is around good. Yeah, it definitely gets a lot of attention. People love this thing. Oh, like elderly people, young people, everyone knows what it is. Everyone wants one. This is a beautiful car. I've always wanted to drive one. I'm so glad I got to drive this one. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. All right, you guys, that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed this review of the car. Check out my other videos with the car. I did a canyon drive. I drove it around in the morning, the afternoon. It's a great car. I will definitely look into buying one in the future, I think. Just be advised, you're gonna need another car for sure, and to wear sunscreen when it's a sunny day and the top is down. But that's gonna be it for the review. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe. Watch my other videos. Got a lot of content for you guys to check out. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.